Hey guys, we are Kawala on indiebuddy.com.
Absolutely, we did.
Really different. I think it was the first time we really tried to it was like a very conscious thing to kind of I mean, it's funny because the point of reference we had for the song was Passion Fruit by Drake.
Yeah.
We obviously
we wanted to do something a bit sexy, which we've never. Whether we've achieved it or not, I don't know.
That's open to interpretation.
It's interesting what you said about leaving space. I think there was a kind of conscious effort with that because as soon as you pile too much in, it becomes another almost energetic song. But we kind of had to restrict ourselves a little bit to give the space to, just to kind of to really sediment that kind of feeling that we were going for.
Yeah.
Kind of chilled, sexy vibe.
It was also I feel like it was our attempt at, I don't know, I think we were taking inspiration from other things and we were we were just trying something basically.
Yeah.
It was a complete one-off trial to see if we could do something a bit different.
And we fell in love with it.
And we fell in love with it because we knew that at the core of it, it still had the two vocals, singing harmonies, and the acoustic at the core of it. So even though we slowed something down, maybe kind of reined in the vocals a bit, in terms of where it could have gone, it felt like a bit more of a less a single as it were, as a traditional single, more just we wanted it to be our slightly curveball celebration of the album being announced, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The process was very different.
It was.
The way that Daniel plays guitar, it tends to be very rhythmical. And I think we could have played the song like that and it would have been different. But, in the verses, it's just... it's very
really slow.
Space.
But then also what's weird is it almost is a completely slow... I'm still using the same techniques I would, but I'm just doing it at an eighth of the speed, as it were. Do you know what I mean? So I think, definitely kind of, it was a strange process, but also when we were writing it, we basically fleshed out this entire demo, and it was born out of a drum loop, which is something we've never really done before. Yeah. It was full of experimentation and a chance for us to kind of go, let's start from a drum loop, let's try to build something a bit different. And so it was trying to unlearn everything we know and all the kind of tricks we always go for.
Yeah.
And then also trying to use those in a new context to see how it'd go. And it's made the album, so it must have gone okay.
Yeah. The process was strange because we had a whole album list that we were very confident was the album before we went into lockdown, the first lockdown. But then when we had so much time off, 60 months to literally just write music, we came out of lockdown with a whole new set list.
I'd say only a couple have made the cut because we just think we've advanced our writing so drastically. I feel like I listened to some of those older songs and I was like, what were we? I mean, not what we were thinking. I love every song we've ever written. Most of the songs we've ever written. But I think it just felt like we'd leveled up. We almost in such a horrible situation to have to do it in. But it gave us a bit of time to just kind of basically hone in on what we wanted from our writing and how much we'd leveled up in the last couple of years. And
it wasn't difficult putting the set list together. When we had all of these songs, the old ones and the new ones, we knew exactly what we wanted to put on the album and what we didn't want to put on the album.
Yeah, it was a funny process though, because in a way we always imagined it being, you'd drive off to the countryside somewhere in a studio with one producer and just record the whole thing, and that'd be this but it didn't work out that way, and I'm actually grateful of it because I didn't even know how well the album was going to work even a week before we got it back. It was still how cohesive. There's 5 or 6 different producers on the album. How cohesive is this body of work? There's songs from here, there. Is it going to work? And then there was this absolute magic moment where we got it all back, and it was just this works so well. We're so proud of it, and it definitely was it was a mixture of relief and joy, basically.
Well, because it's such an accumulation of different Kawala styles, we played on that concept that. How can I say this?
It was, I guess, because so basically the songs don't necessarily entirely have a really explicit concept. It's not like we like really explicitly went, we need to write a whole album's worth of music about this one topic. But what it did, like musically, represent was a bit of a journey that we were both going through, which delved into things like dating and love and relationships, which is something that we never thought we'd ever talk about because we were a bit embarrassing and also a bit lame, and also like there's two of us singing, so we don't want to sing about each other's love lives.
Exactly.
It's a bit weird. But then we found ourselves in the same situation. So there is elements that touch upon that, and there is a bit of a progressional journey in some of the songs. And in terms of like a wider concept, you know, you can take the wider concept. You know.
Well, we approach the album the same way we approach our live shows, where we want to show a range of everything we've ever been, from the beginning where it's just two of us and a guitar, to the really big kind of funky sounds that we go for as well, songs. And yeah, so it's exactly that. It's a journey, but we like that it's an accumulation of emotions and feelings. So, yeah.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, that's really nice to hear, by the way. But also, like, I think that's, I guess the word, inoffensive.
Inoffensive.
But it's just like, I guess we make I guess what helps is that we've taken reference musically from like all sorts of genres ourselves. So like, we'll take reference from Simon and Garfunkel in the kind of like guitar style and the kind of like harmony style. But then also like we'll take references from more modern pop writing and stuff like that. And I guess the range of music that we like ourselves coming together into this one sound is probably what's shaped something that feels a bit more universal and a bit more wide. But then also, I don't know. I guess the magic ingredient is that not many people have just two people singing in harmony, but then also in kind of fairly pop. Like Searching is a pop song, straight up, no nonsense, no messing around. But it's still got the kind of like the vocals and the acoustic at the core of it, but it's upbeat music. I guess it's like, I don't think no one's reinventing the wheel. I think like what we've just basically done is drawn like lots of different styles and techniques and genres and influence all together to make what we do, and it just happens to, I guess, connect with different age groups.
I wonder if, like, I'd say we're pretty normal people, like just everyday people. We just make music, and it just so happens other people like it. Maybe our music is liked by other normal people. We're normal people making music for normal people.
We appeal to normal people. It was actually it was a director approached us, and then we kind of like fleshed it out as a.
We wanted to do a live performance video because, we did one with the Angry Man, but we'd never tried to just do a live performance video. So we did that.
It was really fun. It was really fun to film.
It was very cold.
It was really cold. It was on a beach just by Blackpool.
Yeah.
And it was like.
But we tell people we did it in Barbados.
But it's like it just happened that on the day, like all the weather, it shut every type of weather was showcased in
every hour it rained, so every hour we'd have to stop for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But it was and Joe, our tour manager, was driving that day, and he got stuck on the beach in the sand. There's a lot of like calamity, but like it's funny when again, one of those things where the process felt really amazing. It was really fun, and we wanted to showcase our live, but then also stepped up, not just us performing, it was us then put in a strange scenario, and then it'd be a bit more kind of, a bit more heightened and a bit more exciting, and I think it did come across. Yeah. I'm really happy with the outcome.
Yeah.
It was worth getting stuck in the mud, Charlie.
I think the calamity lends itself well to the concept of the video, because we, you could tell that there was like visible anguish in our faces in the video, which is perfect for the concept of the song.
There's a lot of emotion in both faces, but it's because
we were cold and tired.
It's insanely cold and very tiring.
A lot like what dating is like.
Which is what we're
cold and tiring.
Cold and tiring. Well, I think this is why the album feels like a step up in itself, because I feel like we like almost like for a lot of our earlier stuff, it was all very like about journey and progression and like kind of positivity and like kind of like and like oh, you're in a bad position, let's talk about making yourself in a good position. It was like quite simple. It was all about kind of like, but we always kept things quite broad. Whereas like with the album, we allowed ourselves to be a bit more vulnerable with our writing and a bit more like delve a little bit deeper into kind of like, again, like love lives and like friends and like just a bit more real and honest with ourselves a little bit with our writing.
We always used to, in our previous songs before the album, talk about other people's stories, but maybe for the first time with this album we talk about ourselves a little bit more. Yeah.
It's a good quote.
Is that good?
I liked it.
Nice.
Really good. Big fan.
I did a good one.
Yeah. I mean, like I feel like it's selfishly it was really hard for us because it's like we lost the kind of core of what our thing is, which is the engagement with our fan base. You know, our shows are incredibly. It's fun because what's amazing about our shows that we've missed so much, and we're only just now relearning how fun they are. You know, is that it's like our shows are like our fan base is incredible. They're so like it's like always really safe. Everyone's really like lovely to each other, but it doesn't feel too soft or like it just feels like a kind of really like people are there to dance and listen and sing. And it's like, it doesn't feel intense. We're not telling everyone to punch each other in a mosh pit or like, it's like a real good age range. Like everyone's lovely and really up. It just feels like, normal people. We've somehow managed to attract normal people. And like, I guess that's like been tough because losing that, you kind of lose your main source of kind of understanding where your scale as a band or who you're connecting with, and there's no better connection than being in front of
our fans are a part of our identity, and by losing our fans we lost a little bit of ourselves. And also moving it online, it was good, wasn't it? Another good one.
I'm waffling and he's just hitting with like an absolute gem. It's brilliant, good balance.
I'm paraphrasing.
You're paraphrasing. You can almost say no, I think like I've got what I was gonna say.
Our fans are very important to us.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like coming back and doing shows again.
Well, I was gonna say you out because your last line was so good. Everyone's thrown. No, I think the world shifting more online for a while was tough for us because we're a bit old school. We're quite like
face to face.
We play our instruments. There's not too much else going on. We plug in and play pretty much. We just turn up at venues and hope our growth has come quite naturally from doing shows and supporting people. And then like suddenly, the whole world being online and on TikTok and Instagram for like 2 years meant that it was like tough to kind of. We felt like we had to less grow and more stay relevant for a while before coming back out and realizing. It's only like now doing festivals, doing shows and stuff this year. Suddenly you're like. Oh, this is who we are. Like yesterday in Cork was such an eye-opener. It was such a moment of being like, these are the people that love us, that come and see us, and this is why we do it. Yeah.
Social media isn't reality. And for a long time, it was everybody's reality. So we're coming back
He's on fire,
with the realness.
It was
a bit of a moment.
It's like bizarre love child that we're not that proud of, but we are really proud of. But we don't. Every time people ask us about it, we kind of go.
We love comedy. We had nothing to do for a long time in lockdown. Us and a bunch of mates were like, look, let's build a set, let's write a show, and just have a bit of fun. The label gave us some money to do it.
Why? No one
Silly
knows.
decision.
Yeah.
And so
adults,
we did it.
Adults let us do it. Seems crazy.
And it was a perfect vehicle for the time to, because every episode we had another song from the EP that we did alongside it. So it worked perfectly for like the kind of promotional value of each song. And it's something that we'll always look back fondly and embarrassed
It's
by.
one to embarrass the grandkids, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
But
I think
it was a great time.
it was
a great moment.
I would
for
say it was
us,
just
but-
like because we were like heavily involved in the writing of the whole thing, which maybe says a lot about.
Wow, it's terrible.
No, but like really, like honestly, so proud of it.
Yeah.
And also, it's like what I like about it is it you know did well. It did well, like, and we're happy with how it went. But also, what's amazing is it's always going to be a part of our thing. You know, so if we keep growing, fingers crossed, when we're as big as Adele, which is very likely, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
I think that people will go, "What is this? Let's watch it." Oh my god!
I think
this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then it's a great insight into our personality.
I'm proud of it because like I mean it has been done. Like in the 70s there was the Monkees, which is like that kind of made up band. They did it and stuff like, and we've done this. And since then I've seen like other bands and other artists doing similar things, like TV shows or like little online things. It's interesting because with the surge of moving everything online during lockdown. Bands had to be more than just musicians. It was, you had to be everything. You have to be an all-encompassing entertainer. So I think, from that and from us doing it, we've sparked a lot of inspiration of people doing more than just music, and it's exciting to see.
Well, just like
Paradise Heights Christmas special.
No, that's not the exclusive because we want that. No one said yes to it. We haven't even written it. It's just
if
an
other
idea.
people want it, we'll do it.
Hey,
okay?
if enough people say yes to...
Do you want to see him dressed up as Santa Claus?
I won't do it. I'm Jewish. No, I'm joking. I am Jewish. That's not a joke. But the Father Christmas bit is true. What's next? I guess we're like keep touring in the new year again. Like we're in spring. We're off to the States for the first time, which is really awesome for South by Southwest. And we're going to try and fit some shows around that. We've got the album coming out in March.
Yeah.
The new year feels like it's going to be full of excitement, and it's kind of like a big moment for us to really kind of like make our stamp on the music scene and see how well it goes down with people.
We're like so incredibly proud of the album. I think the next step for us is just making the world hear it.
Pushing it so hard that no one can ignore it. We will do anything. And that's an exclusive. Follow us on Instagram, at Kawalagram, Kawala Gram.
We're also on TikTok.
TikTok Kawala. That's Kawala. TikTok Awala. We're also on everything else, probably on things roughly around the word Kawala.
Koala.
That's us. Follow us, please.